الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك أن نشرك بك شيئا نعلمه ونستغفرك لما لا نعلمه. Inshallah, I will try inshallah to make it a short and simple talk. This topic, the topic of Islamic banking and the Sayrafa Islamiyya. We have Islamic economy, which is the theories of the Islam towards the economy. But we have the practical side of it, is called Islamic banking and finance. It's very complicated, as the mu'amalat, generally speaking, the transactions, when you study fiqh, if you study Bab al-Buyu', the chapter of Buyu', you will find it complicated. It's not as easy, for example, as Tahara or as Salah. And there are different opinions in this topic, even from the time of the companions. However, there are clear riba, and there is a clear halal, or there are clear halal transactions, and there are something in between. And now, just to be honest with you and to be clear from the beginning, we are not in a situation where we can choose our economy. We are already forced to follow the economy that is followed by the big countries, big strong countries. So what we are trying just to halalize it, as simple as this. I always give example to the brothers, just to make them aware of the situation. If you have someone who is a bad person, he steals, he drinks alcohol, he kills, he does a lot of bad things, and he wants to repent. However, he can't stop everything in one go. So what will you tell him? No, you can't. Either you leave it, take it or leave it. No. You say, okay, at least stop killing now, and you can carry on drinking alcohol, and inshallah tomorrow or after a while you stop this. So gradually you change him from bad person to good person. This is exactly what's happening in the economy. The scholars found a very haram or economy based in completely haram transactions, mainly riba and gharar, ambiguity. And they tried to move this to halal. Of course, it won't be a clear and pure like what we prefer to do. However, it's still in the circle of the halal. Now, before we go deep, I just want to ask. Now, if you buy a car, okay? Let's say me, I pay Brother Sulaiman £1,000 for his car, and his car is still in his garage. Who owns the car at the moment? You can, inshallah, answer just to make it open this. I own the car because I paid you the money.
You paid me the money.
Okay, who's liable for the car? Who's responsible for the car?
Sulaiman.
Who's got the daman now?
You, Sulaiman.
Sulaiman. Why?
Because he still has it.
I didn't have it. I haven't received the car yet. So there's something called daman, the liability. This is a very important factor in our Islamic transactions. You have to understand it before you say it's halal or haram. Okay? You can own the material or the commodity, but it's still not in your daman. Okay. There is another factor, which is risk, mukhatara. Is it permissible to involve in high risk transactions? Like for example, some shares, I'll talk about halal shares, that it has very high risk. Is it permissible to involve in such a transaction? To buy and sell these high risky shares? Why?
It's your investment and you know the risks.
Because
you know
it's ringing. Sorry?
Because you know the risk.
Yeah, because you know the risk. And what else? Because there's no limit for the risk in Islam. So what's the difference between gambling and high risk transactions?
Because one is chance.
Yeah, but why? Why gambling is haram? and high risk transactions are halal. I'm just trying to make you aware of some important points. So when you go to the topic or to the main point, you will understand what we're talking about. So why gambling? You know gambling, isn't it? Lottery. Lottery is haram. High risky transactions are halal. Why? What's the difference?
Gambling is legislated as haram in the Quran.
No, what's the difference?
Everyone who invests in high risk transaction will get the benefit if it is beneficial. Whereas in gambling,
Yeah?
only few people can win. The rest are all
تسعى
losers.
ها؟
تسعى لهذا الشغل.
No.
There are other
ما الفرق? What's the difference now?
Because there is a clear evidence about gambling is haram.
Yeah, but what is the wisdom?
One is based on chance, the other isn't.
And the other?
It's not, it's clear.
How? Yes, it's true what you are saying, but you didn't touch the main point. The main difference, which I know you know it, but you don't realize it.
Business is always taking a risk. It's like
No? Huh?
risk investment is based on knowledge. Now, knowledge is, you know what you're doing before you put the money in there. It's,
Still, you're coming closer, but you still didn't touch the main point. Huh? Sorry, one minute, huh?
with investment is one way,
Yeah?
whereas with gambling there's two ways of.
No, huh?
Because with gambling, you are dealing with other person as well, so it creates a bit of like.
Very close. You still.
The risk you're taking with business is either you get it or not. However, with gambling, you are like more intention of gambling, trying to get something.
Your high risk, you're still owning that particular equity.
Sorry?
In your high risk investment, you're still owning that equity.
Okay.
Whereas gambling, you're not owning anything.
You are the closest answer. In the transaction, there is a commodity involved. In the gambling, there is just chance, no commodity. When you buy that ticket for lottery, are you buying something? You're just buying a number. But in high risky transactions, there is a commodity, share, car, whatever. You understand the difference now. So that's why gambling is haram. It's completely based on luck. There is no commodity involved. However, when it comes to high risky transactions, there is commodity involved. That's why we say this is halal and this is haram. Okay. Now, in Islam, we have two types of transactions. One is based on mu'awadah and one is based on irfaq. One is based on exchange. You give and take. You give money and you take a commodity or vice versa. And the other one is based on helping people. There is a third transaction, but it's not the main. It's sub-transaction, like authentication transactions, like rahan, you get guarantee, or someone guarantor. All these kafala, to guarantee someone. All these are contracts as well, but they are not meant. They are subcontract. You get a kafil, a guarantor, to guarantee to buy that commodity, for example. It's another transaction, a contract as well. So, but the main two transactions, one is based on mu'awada, buying and selling. You give a commodity and you can take money or vice versa. The other one, it's based on irfaq. Allah made it permissible to make it easy between the people. For example, loan, qard, is based on irfaq. What does irfaq means? When you give a loan, you're supposed to help people. When you give a loan, your contract is based on helping people, because the loan is contract. Even in Islam, it is a contract. And you have to fulfill it. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, awfu bil uqud. You have to fulfill the loan contract. You have to give it back. However, it's based on irfaq. That means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed us to deal with loan to help each other, not to eat each other. In riba, people give loan for what reason? Exactly, interest. To make more money. And this is completely against Islam's wisdom. Allah said, give help for reward. That's it. And when you are being paid back, you take what you have given. No more than this. So this is the loan in Islam, and this is the riba. And the riba is one of the main transactions at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited. Well, who was famous in dealing with riba? Al-Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, was a big man in riba. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ started with his riba. He said, وَأَوَّلُ مَا نَضَعْ رِبَانَا رِبَا الْعَبَّاسِ The first interest that we nullify is our riba. He means his uncle. So he stopped the riba of Al-Abbas on Hajjat al-Wada. So because loan is based on irfaq means that easiness or to help other people, you can't make profit out of riba. You can't make out of loan. You can't make any benefit out of your loan. I will go just directly to answer the questions because this topic is too big. If I go in every single point, you will make Qiyam al-Layl today with me until Fajr. So I will try, inshallah, just to answer the questions so you can sleep. What we have in the conventional banks. Anyone involved in this or at least know someone who involved in this? MashaAllah, very biased. No one knows about this. Okay, yeah. I'm talking about the procedures. You didn't hear about it? Alhamdulillah, that's good. So what we do, for example, you go to HSBC or one of those banks and you want a loan. What they will do to you, they will say to you, okay, how much you need? Let's say you need 100,000. That's fine. After you get everything they needed from you, the guarantor or whatever they ask for, and they will fix the rate for you. You have to give it back with, for example, 2, 3, 5%. And if you are late, there will be a penalty charge, late penalty charge. And that's it. So when you take the money from that bank, that specific bank, who will be responsible for this money? You. You took the money and you're responsible for that. Okay. And you have to give it back with interest. There's a very big rule in Islam. They call al-kharaju bil-daman. Wal-ghunmu bil-ghurm. Al-kharaju bil-daman. That means if you want to make profit, you have to involve in the liability, in the daman, the one we talked about. Now, in the case where I bought the car from Sulaiman, and I haven't received it yet, I haven't taken it yet. It's still in his garage, he didn't give it to me. Earthquake, quick, the house collapsed, the car finished. What will happen?
He's liable for us to give you the money back.
Exactly. Although the contract is done, but I haven't received it yet. Because the daman is on Sulaiman, not on me. Okay? That's fine. So in case of the conventional loan, conventional mortgage, they will just give you the money and you have to pay back and that's it. Whether you buy a car, you buy a house, you keep the house, you keep the car is stolen, it is not their business. It's none of their business. It's your responsibility to pay the 100,000 back with the interest. 5, 10%, whatever. In Islamic bank, what they do, instead of this, actually, it is not correct to call it Islamic mortgage. It's Islamic funding, tamweel, because it's based on a contract, based on a business contract, not based on a loan contract. In the conventional banks, it's just basic loan contract. In Islamic bank, there are many modes of finance. We have murabaha, we have musharaka, we have ijara, we have istisna', we have salam. We have more than many of the type of transactions. So usually the bank will choose what is suitable for it and for that area, and you will choose what is okay with you. We can't talk about every single modes of finance. We will just choose one, which is very common here in UK, which is diminishing musharaka, al-musharaka al-mutanaqisa. So I will give you what the banks do, but I'm not saying they are okay. We will come to this at the end. I'm telling you what the musharaka mutanaqisa is Islamically. What does it mean? Me, I'm brother Abdul Aziz. He is, mashallah, rich man, and I'm poor. I say, Abdul Aziz, I have only 20,000. I want to buy that house, which is its value 100,000. Do you want to help me? Give me a loan? He say, no, I can't give you a loan. Say, okay, do you want to do business with me? He say, yes. Say, come, me and you pay 80,000, I will pay 20,000 and we'll buy the house. Abdulaziz is the bank now, okay? I'm the client. Now in this situation, what happened? We became partners. We own this house, both of us. Who's responsible for the house? Who's liable for this house? Both of us. So if something happened, everybody will be affected according to his percentage. This is a pure musharaka. Why they call it diminishing musharaka, mutanaqisa? Because in the contract, everything is based on musharaka. However, there is another contract. Actually, another two contracts. One is wa'd, and the other one is another contract that we will sign later on, but we will mention in the wa'd. So I will say, Abdulaziz, I promise you, every year I will buy 10% of your share. Because in reality, Abdulaziz does not want to involve in this business. He's doing it just to make more money. He has, mashallah, 3 houses. He does not want any house now. Not him, I'm just giving him as an example. People look at him. So, mashallah, may Allah give him barakah. So, next year, I will buy 10%. I will be the owner of 30%, and he will be the owner of 70%. And it will go like this. Year by year, after 5, 10, whatever the contract is, he will just step out from the house. I will be the complete owner of the house. It's forget about Islamic banking now. Even in practicality, you can do it with one of your friends. It's as simple as this. Let's say, for example, after 2 years, I said, I'm not going to buy anything. I can't afford it, Abdulaziz. There are many solutions. For example, say Abdulaziz, okay, will say to me, okay, we will sell the house. I take my share, you take your share. Assalamu alaikum. Or he will tell me, go and get someone to buy my share in the house, and you carry on with him. I don't want to stay. There are solutions for this, Islamic solution for this. But what's the difference now between what the Islamic bank is doing in this contract and the conventional bank? What's the difference?
Responsibility is shared between both of you.
Before that, yeah, it's correct. But this is maybe 2 or third points. The first point, what's the difference? The conventional bank will give just loan. Give loan. Does not involve in any responsibility. Does not involve in anything. Just loan. Islamic bank, he will make a study to check the business is worth yet, and he will involve in a real business by signing a contract. That's why Islamic bank needs guarantors, needs many things that to guarantee that the money in the Islamic bank will not be lost. And the money in Islamic bank is not for the Islamic bank, it's for another Muslims who put their money to invest in the bank. So you can imagine, Islamic bank takes your money to invest it there. So you can't say, some people think Islamic banks are charity organization. No, they want to make profit because the people who put their money in, deposited their money in the accounts of Islamic banks, especially saving one, wants to make profit. And this is how they can compete with the big sharks in the market, although it's not easy to compete. The problem is, the mentality of the Muslims, actually the mentality of the whole world now is based on credit. People like credit. People like this. Okay, Sulaiman, you have 2 contracts, Sulaiman. One contract, you give to the bank 100,000 and you get a small interest every month, 2%, 3%. I'm not talking about halal or haram, okay? I'm talking about how the mentality, which more preferable according to mentality nowadays. The other contract, they will tell you, listen, we take your money and we will involve some business and there will be a risk, there will be a liability, we might make some profit, we might lose. Come on, why don't you involve in this headache? Let's give him 100,000, relax. You get 2-3% every year and that's it. This mentality is a problem. We grown up like this. We grown up that when we put our money in the bank, it's secured. We can't easily accept that it's not secure. It's based on ribh and khasara. You might make profit, you might lose. That's why our mentality is not accepting what is the pure meaning of the transactions in Islam. That's why I was in a conference in London. It's about takaful, the insurance, the Islamic insurance. Some companies involved in that conference, They had nothing to do with Islam. They're not Muslims. But they call them ethical business. Maybe you heard about this. They don't involve in selling alcohol or smoking or bad things. They don't involve. So they are joining Islamic banking just for this purpose, because Islamic banking does not Islamic bank do not deal with these transactions. So one of the women, ladies there, she had like a questionnaire, and she spent the time to find out why many Muslims do not have a current account in the Islamic banks, in Rayyan or whatever. Because you know we are here more than 2-3 millions. And in Rayyan, I don't know now how many, but it was about 55,000 accounts. It's a big gap. You know, in UK, you know, even a baby, when he starts, they just open up an account for him. So everybody opens accounts. So when we have 55,000 and we have 2-3 millions, that means there is a problem. People do not come. Why? So she made many questions. One of the questions that showed that Muslims do not trust that is halal. You know why? Because many imams know nothing about murabaha, know nothing about diminished musharaka, stand up in the minbar and say, this is haram, this is haram. As if HSBC is doing the pure halal. Come on, man. Where is the halal? We are not saying this is the best. We are saying they are trying. So, in the diminishing musharaka, as an example, it's very complicated contract. It's not as simple as I'm telling you. I'm just trying to simplify it for you. There are some points where where some banks do not act according to the real meaning of Islam. Now, if we involve, as you mentioned with Abdul Aziz, 80%, 20%. Let's say after 1 year I'm buying his 10%. Islamically, what we supposed to do? How shall I pay? What's the price of this 10%? Market price. If it's a real transaction, it will be market price. Is that true or not?
Is it not the price that you bought it at? No?
No. We are talking about now pure business. He wants to make profit. Although the house is already rented, either to me or to someone else. So Abdulaziz is making profit anyway. But he will not say no to get more. This is the business. This is the nature of business. People want to make more money. So when we sell let's say the house was 100,000. After 1 year became 110. The 10%, how much it should be? 1,100. If he sells it to me for 1,000, what does it mean? Huh? Ihsan? Do you think there is any ihsan involved in business? It is true what you're saying. But logically, do you think people think about ihsan in business? No. They want to make profit. So if we want to be closer to the real meaning of the transaction, he should sell it according to the market value. If he's your brother, we can understand that he's making ihsan. He's helping you, which is fine. They call it bay' al-tawliya. We have 3 types of bay'. Bay' al-hatita, bay' al-tawliya, bay' al-murabaha. Bay' al-hatita, I bought this laptop for 1,000, for example. Abdul Nasser is my friend. He wants to buy it. I will sell it. I say, Abdul Nasser, I bought it for 1,000. I'm going to give it to you for 900, just to help you. They call it bay' al-hatita. It's fine. So I knocked the price down for him to help him. The second type, bay' al-tawliya, Abdul Nasser, I bought it for 1,000. I will give it to you for 1,000. And that's why when the Prophet ﷺ wanted to migrate, Abu Bakr prepared 2 camels. So say, oh Prophet of Allah, I've got 2 camels ready. He said, no, I will give you the price. So he will give him the exact amount he paid. So he call it bay' al-tawliya. Bay' al-murabaha, Abdul Nasser, I bought it for 1,000. I want to make 100 profit. So I'll sell it to you for 1,100. And this is al-murabaha. All these transactions are okay as long as they are not hiding something behind. They are not hiding a riba behind it. Understand me? So in that situation, if the bank sells the share according to the market value, then 100% this is clear. And the market value could go up or down. And this is the business. This is the mukhatara. This is the risk. You might make profit, you might lose. But if he sells this, gives the same price that at the day of buying or involving the musharaka, then there will be question marks. That's why al-majma' al-fiqhi, many scholars say it's not permissible for the bank to do that. Although some banks here in UK, they do this. And when I negotiate this with them, I said, why you do this? They said, we know it's better to sell it according to the market value. And actually, we will make more profit for us. Don't think we don't want this. But they said this will cost the customer more money, especially in tax. And he started explaining to me why they cannot do it. Anyway, we come to these small points in the contract. Now, the second thing, we have two types of siyana, maintenance. Let's carry on about talking about the houses. We have the main siyana al-asasiyya, the essential, and we have the daily siyana, the daily maintenance. Painting is daily maintenance. That means you use it in the house, either as a tenant or as an owner. Whoever lives in the house, he needs to paint the house because he's using it. But the roof collapsed. Can I use the house? I can't use it. They call it essential maintenance. Siyana asasiyya. The essential maintenance is on the owner. He has to be responsible for this. The daily maintenance, as-siyana tashghiliyya, is on the tenant. Is that okay? Now, some Islamic banks, or many of them, when you want to buy a house, what they will ask you to do? To get insurance, building insurance. Which is fine if the insurance is halal, because some insurance takaful company are halal, some of them are not halal. This is another issue. But if it's halal, that's fine. You can go for insurance. But who has to pay for the cost of the insurance? Because the insurance usually cover everything. Who owns the house? Both. Exactly. So if they want the contract Islamic, he should pay 80% of the fees, and I pay 20%, which is not the situation in many Islamic banks. And it's a defect. I'm not saying this nullifies the contract. It's a defect. This is not correct. There are some scholars who wrote about this point, to be honest with you, and he came with some fatwa from some scholars, which is very, to be honest with you, I can't say this is very weak, but it's still under discussion. No, majority of the scholar, they are saying what I'm telling you now. So these small points in the contract could affect the contract. But still, this contract is closer to the Islam than the riba contract. Because in Islam, not every apparent thing is not acceptable. Now, when Bilal came with the date to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, MashaAllah, it's a nice date. Where did you get this from? He said, I used to have 2 sa' of bad quality of date. I gave it to one of those traders, and he gave me this nice quality date. The Prophet ﷺ, Aynul riba, this is the exact riba. 1 kilo or 1 sa' for 2 kilo. 1 good date quality for 2 bad quality date. This is the riba. You can't exchange it like this. So what the Prophet ﷺ suggested? He said, بيع الرديء بالدراهم. Sell the bad quality one and get money for that, and then buy the good one with the money. Okay. Now, practically, Javed has the date shop. Okay. I have the 2 bad kilo of date, and he has got good quality. Okay. Now, what we'll do now, I will sell the 2 kilo and get the money and buy. If I go and sell it to Muhammad and get the money and buy from Javed, that is clear, halal.